Good evening. Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Song Radio Show. My name is Leon Jones. This evening's topic: beware of toxic substances in your food. Beware of toxic substances in your food. Now, as a rule of thumb, foods are generally safe. However, there are things that get into food which could shock and disgust you enough to keep you away from food altogether. What will surprise you is that many of these things are permitted by the food safety authorities, but within limits. Now, some substances, like certain toxins, are naturally present in foods, so even if the food authorities wanted, they could not ban them totally. Some of the foreign substances might not be dangerous, but might be in your wildest imagination. Could you have the thought they could be on your plate? Now, metal fragments from worn or chipped equipment and containers enter food products during processing. However, glass, plastic, and metal pieces from glass tumblers, edges of badly opened tin cans, and carelessly opened caps on foods, and even shattered light bulbs fall into food without anybody realizing it. Rodents, which are mice, rats, scavenge for food and rummage in food stocks. In fact, rodents could make stored foods their home if entry is not strictly prevented. Where there is laxity rodent hair, urine, and droppings enter foods and from there to your plate, so watch as your food could be biologically contaminated. Antimony and tin are used in packaging materials where they can enter food. I'm talking about foil, cans, pans, and storage containers have chemicals which can be released from them into food at low levels, and these, when they are ingested, cause various health problems. Next time you eat a burger or open sealed packs of foods or cans of mushrooms and tomatoes, check carefully. It could be infested with maggots and insect eggs. Your cabbage and spinach could have caterpillar larvae in it. Believe it or not, a limited number of maggots are permitted in food. Now, have you ever felt that grit on your tongue? It could be sand in your salt soup or coffee whitener. Sand is mixed in powdered foods as sand absorbs moisture and prevents clumping. Sawdust is used for the same reason in foods like shredded cheese. It also makes low fat ice cream creamy and ready to drink milkshakes smooth. Cockroaches, flies, insects of all kinds, and even spiders and lizards can fall into food and are regarded as being highly dangerous if found in foods, as they can carry bacteria from dustbins and drains to foods. The presence of rodents and insects in a food safety violation that could result in cancellation of license for food establishments. Now, iron fillings can enter tea when processed, as particles escape into tea from the wear and tear of iron machinery. Iron remains in the body, and though some iron is good for the body, it can become dangerous and lead to heart problems. Now, if you are a tea addict and drink copious amounts of it, the permissible limit for iron fillings in tea in India is presently 150 milligrams per kilogram of tea. Now, molds and fungus grow on foods when the temperature is warm, and the rainy season finds these in abundance in sauces, jams, jellies, cooked and processed meats and poultry, cheese, bread, and even fruit. Surface molds can be washed or dusted off, but that does not mean they have gone away completely. The fungus has roots that go deep into foods, and that these are not visible to the naked eye. Now, cleaning agents like ammonia, bleach, dishwashing liquids, and sanitizers can cause turmoil. People have had them with their coffee because the personal forgot to rinse out the coffee machine thoroughly. Human error, it could be, but the carelessness in not rinsing and washing utensils or cooking surfaces thoroughly can lead not only to bad taste, but some stomach burning and even food poisoning. Cleaning agents need to be stored away from all food preparation areas and utensils. So, what about milk products? Now, are you sure that the infant formula you are feeding your child or the chocolate or frozen yogurt you're eating is free of melamine? So, what is melamine and why is it used in foods? Well, melamine is a synthetic material used to make plastic, tableware, and dishware, adhesives, and even whiteboards. So, what is it doing in your food? Water is often mixed into milk, and such milk loses protein. So, to enhance the content of protein, melamine is mixed into it. Products made from milk could have melamine, which can damage the kidneys permanently. Now, while human hair in food might not be as hazardous as animal hair, but their presence in food indicates that the establishment lacks good hygienic practices because hair, nails, false nails, nail polish, pieces of jewelry, paper napkins, and even cigarette butts can enter food and have been found more often than anyone would like to admit. All personnel working in food service need to be aware of these hazards and they must be instructed / trained to follow good hygienic practices. Now, going back to animal hair. When it comes to animal hair or chipped pieces of bone, that could be naturally present in meat, food products. Perhaps you're not aware of this, but whole mice can sometimes be churned into foods during the processing method. Unscrupulous manufacturers add horse and even rat meat to canned meat food products to cut costs, especially those imported, as some countries permit horse meat. Now, some vegetarian foods, like certain cereals, could contain animal gelatin, which is used as a binding agent so that the sugar sticks to the cereal. Got to take a moment to read the labels. So if you're a vegetarian, you could find that you've just eaten animal bone and skin as some gelatin are made from the animal skin and bones. Now, have you ever chewed chewing gum? I know many of us who collected baseball cards and football cards have eaten bubble yum and bazooka and tops, and even people chew regular chewing gum like Trident, Wrigley's Spearmint, Juicy Fruit. Well, when it comes to bubble gum, and baseball players chew a lot of bubble gum, along with dipping tobacco, and that's coming up in the video as well. Cancer from dipping chew. But if you are one of those who loves to pop a chewing gum or bubble gum in your mouth, then you could actually be eating a secretion from sheep wool called lanolin. This additive is used in chewing gum because it has an oily texture which makes it easy to chew the gum. Now, when it comes to plants, a number of us eat leafy vegetables, lettuce, spinach. Well, do you know residues of pesticides, herbicides, and chemical fertilizers used during the agricultural process easily find their way into foods? Pesticides may leave residues on the skins and surfaces of fruits and vegetables. Residues of pesticides and herbicides over a period of time can affect the central nervous system, respiratory, and gastrointestinal systems. Now, what I'm trying to do is make you aware of what you are eating. I did a video a couple of months ago on food safety and sanitation. And this is what's happening. A lot of our foods are being processed not to help us as human beings out, but to cut costs. So, what you must do when it comes to food, and it's very difficult when you're buying food in the grocery store because of how it's packaged. It's basically they package it, seal it, they put it in the cooler, you buy it, and you're out the door once you pay for your meat. Now, here's my suggestion. If you're going to buy meat, go to an actual slaughterhouse where you can see meat that is fresh. Because the problem with grocery stores, you got to ask yourself, well, how long has that meat been sitting there? I know, and I have to give a shout out to my boy, brother Big Body Matt Coley. He actually sent me a picture of a grocery store. And to be more specific, it was a grocery store aisle. Well, it was lunch meat. And there was a mouse in the lunch meat. And you have to ask yourself, as a customer, are you vigilant? Because there are going to be people who aren't even going to pay attention that that mouse was there. Now, when it comes to food establishments, I've worked in my fair share of food establishments when I was in the hospitality industry. Most managers today have to have a ServSafe certification. So when you go into a restaurant, you look for that certification. If there's no certification, you don't need it at that establishment because all managers must be ServSafe certified in order to serve food to the public. That's a 90 question exam that managers must take, and the certification lasts for 5 years. So every 5 years they have to renew that certification. But what I'm trying to tell you as my audience is you must be smart by practicing proper hygiene, proper sanitation, and safety procedures when you're dealing with food. Because if you don't, you could come up with stomach aches, food poisoning, E. coli. A lot of us don't pay attention to it. And that's why I'm giving you this video so you can have a little more knowledge of what you are looking for when you go and buy foods. Again, looks are deceiving. Just because you see that shiny tomato, if you just take that tomato and cut that tomato up without washing it, 9 times out of 10, you're going to ingest the herbicides and pesticides. And most agricultural establishments, I'm talking about farms, they're going to spray some pesticide and herbicides on the food. They want to keep all of the maggots, the rodents, some of those other varmint out because they have to sell that food to make a profit. So, last thought. Please practice safe food handling procedures and make sure you clean off your food preparation area. And this goes for individuals at home as well. Don't clean your counters off with chemicals and then you place your food on top of the chemicals while you're preparing it to cook because you're going to ingest the chemicals. And also, in a refrigerator. And I've seen this a lot of times. Don't put meat with blood that's dripping over other stored foods like coleslaw. And that goes for chicken as well, because that's when you're going to get the E. coli and the other diseases that come with improper food sanitation procedures. So, be vigilant for how you prepare your food, store your food, and cook your food. It could save your life in the long run. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show for this evening, Sunday, June 4th, 2017. You can tune into the 411 Talk Zone radio show every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. We had a good show yesterday. We talked about delusion and paranoia. Now for next week, I'm going to get more into a social topic because I do more of the social topics on Blog Talk Radio. I'm going to talk about how simping has destroyed masculinity in favor of hypergamy. That's right. You don't want to miss that show. And 2 weeks from yesterday, I'm going to talk about black men have to have standards to help define their worth. That's on the 17th. Want to get in on both of those shows? Guest calling numbers 215-383-5785. If you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Now on this channel, I don't engage in debating, controversy, or emotional issues, nor do I participate in drama and unnecessary bickering. Why? Because it's counterproductive. This channel is for educational purposes only. And what I'm doing is providing you as my audience / subscribers information that you're not getting in the real world. And everything I'm going to talk about is realistic and positive. And I'm also giving you my own personal experiences so you don't have to make the same mistakes I did. Because on this channel, I keep everything realistic and positive because that makes a conducive learning environment, and knowledge is power. If you have a business, a topic, or a new YouTube channel that you would like for me to discuss on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, please email me at lej6521@gmail.com. And if you have a comment, please leave your comment in the comment section under the video. But make sure that your comments are pithy, no bloviating, pettifogging, or filibustering if you wish to opine. Now that's it for this video. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other and have a wonderful and blessed evening.